Hi everyone, my name is Joseph, and I wanted to share a few PS3 games that I bought, but these ones have kind of a special circumstance surrounding them. These are games that I actually used to own on my PS3, but then unfortunately, when the PS4 came out, I made the foolish decision of selling my PS3 games in order to get the PS4 version. That was always something that I had a huge regret, and every time I went through my trophy list to see my trophies uh, incomplete lists because I ended up getting the PS4 version, it always did kind of twist my heart a little bit. And then I also kind of a special history when it comes to my PSN as well because my original PSN, I ended up deleting that one and creating a new PSN, which I wholly regret, of course, because I actually like the timestamps that they have on trophies. And because of that, a lot of the games that I beat already, such as Uncharted, um, the whole trilogy, um, I no longer have those trophies since I restarted the game. And before I got the PS4 version, I was in the middle of restarting my playthrough to reacquire those trophies from my new PSN account. But then, of course, I sold it. I went over to the PS4 side. So let's quickly, well, not quickly, but I just wanted to have that little introduction at the start because I think it's really important to have that context. So essentially, these are games that are new or new for my collection, but I haven't had them new. So they are new in the sense that they weren't part of my collection before, but they used to be part of my collection, and I'm reacquiring them. So new. So we'll start since I mentioned Uncharted. I got the Uncharted Dual Pack. This was for a really great deal. It came with both of them, 1 and 2, which is really cool. I am looking forward to finally replaying it on my PS3 and reacquiring those trophies, as I said. And it is the greatest hits version, but I'm not too concerned about that. I don't really mind. I'm not the type of individual who's a stickler about that. The next one is PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. So I used to have this on my PS3, and because of this version, I was able to get the Vita version. But like I said, I ended up selling this a long time ago because I felt like I wasn't going to be playing it too often. But since I have it for my Vita, I decided, well, you know what? I might as well just reacquire it again because what if I do want to play it with friends? When friends come over, when family comes over, you can't really do that with the Vita. And it is a fun little game. It's not as amazing as Smash Brothers, admittedly, but it is a fun game. A little something unique, something different. When you want something that's a bit more different from Super Smash Brothers. But yeah, so PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. Looking forward to this one's kind of a special case. I never bought anything digitally for my PS3 except for PSN, and that was true except for Dead Island. There was this deal on Dead Island for the digital collection for one and Riptide on the PS3 a long time ago, and that was the first digital purchase that I made. So I own these games digitally, and I do own the definitive edition for my PS4 as well. And I just wanted to reflect the fact that I own it on my PS3 as well. So I made the choice to go ahead and get Dead Island Riptide. I'm looking around because I thought I had the other one with me, but this is the sequel, Riptide. I got the special edition because surprisingly that one was cheaper than the regular edition. Though I could kind of see why, because the regular edition, I think the cover art is really cool. I thought it looked really intimidating and a lot of fun. Since we're talking about Dead Island, let me quickly pull up. Here we go, and this is the first one. Dead Island. Is it the... No, it's just the base standard edition. I was not too concerned about getting the one with all the DLC because, again, I already own that digitally, and I'm not too much of a stickler where I must reflect exactly what I have. My physical items must reflect my digital items exactly, so I'm not that much of a stickler. Continuing forward is The Last of Us. So this is one I never did. So when I sold it on my PS3, I never did restart it because I was focusing on Uncharted. So it's not on my trophy list, but this was one that I knew that in the future I would not mind comparing and contrasting the differences between the PS3, PS4, and now the PS5 version, right? Because there's the remastered version for The Last of Us. So yeah, this one is a special circumstance. So I actually already own this one, but this is one of those first games that I bought used, and unfortunately, I was not well versed yet in eBay purchasing. Oh, I guess I should take it out from the wrapper. No, it's fine actually, because it's a used game. But it is in great condition. But compared to my original one that I have. So let me, sorry, because I got distracted. I'll just go ahead and take it out from the wrapper. Let me quickly do that right now. Sorry, everyone. Or how does one oops. Oh, I thought I opened this already, and I guess I was incorrect about that. Excuse me, everyone. Alright, there we go. It's slowly getting there. I probably look a bit foolish struggling with a simple plastic wrap. There we go. So yeah, again, I got this because the original edition that I have, it's actually scratched over here on the I got slashed, I guess, so it won't be resewed. And I actually ended up getting a replacement case for that because I really don't like how it was seeped through. And I took out the covering and I put it into the replacement case. But I never liked how this was ruined, essentially, the cover art. This was really cheap. This was only like $5 but with shipping and handling, it came out to about $9 total. And I essentially just got it for the cover art, not really for the case. But the case ended up being really great as well. I might just keep it as replacement. But the cover art, I'm really happy with the cover. I know that might sound a bit silly, getting a replacement just for the cover art. But again, for me personally, I just did not like how the cover art looked. And yeah, so this one looks much better. I should have brought my original one. Maybe in the future I will go ahead and do so one could see. Also, my original one, it was getting frayed at the bottom as well. So that was something that I never did like. And this one does not have that issue whatsoever. And I really am happy and pleased about that. Between four, okay, I did that because I was like, since we're on that topic about the frayed edges, let me go ahead and continue that line of thought. That same idea came from Portal 2. So I do own this already, but I own the Greatest Hits version. I don't care when it's red, but what I did care about was I did buy Portal 2 used. I will repurchase that one. I think when the PSN closure was announced, so it was a bit more expensive than anticipated. So that's why I got it used, and I was shocked to discover that the code was actually still usable. It came because it was, and one is unaware. The PS3 version came with the Steam code for the for Portal 2 for co-op play. I wonder if that's true for all copies. Oh yeah, here we go. Includes free access to play on your PC, Mac via Steam. So I got it used and I was happy with that. But unfortunately, I didn't notice that the cover art again was being frayed along the edges. White was showing on the cover art, and I don't like that. I know that sounds a little bit crazy. Literally, those are the only two games, at least to my, that I've noticed. But usually, any game that I get used or new, I always do examine them. And those are the only two, to my knowledge, across my entire collection where it's like that. And it just really bugged me. I got this for really cheap. This one I'm probably not going to open. All these other unopened ones are only unopened because, well, I have no plans to play them right now. But eventually, they will be open. But the only ones that probably won't be open will be like Dead Island. And this one, since Dead Island I own digitally, and this one I already owned the Greatest Hits edition, but I got this again to replace the cover. But I'm fine with this just being in a shrink wrap. And I was lucky, fortunate enough, that this was also the gray label, the black label. But that was not on purpose. That was just a happy coincidence, a happy accident. Going forward, so this one I do have on my PS3. Skyrim, of course, who doesn't have Skyrim on the trophy list? And it just always bugged me again that I was never going to complete it. I do have the PS4 version. I actually got most of the trophies, and for a little bit I was aiming for the platinum before I kind of gave up. Maybe in the future I'll I mean, it's not that I gave up. It's just I'm not actively seeking it, but I still do play Skyrim. But then I got Skyrim for my PS5 as well. I didn't know that the trophies were separate, and I start that out over. And who knows? I got this. I was like, I might as well just have it in my collection because it started on the PS3, right? Maybe this is something I won't open. Probably not, though. I probably will be opening. My only complaint about this one, unfortunately, is that I got the French version, so it says Greatest Hits and then Grands Success. Excuse me, I can't pronounce that. But I was fine with it because it was really cheap. I already own the physical version of my PS4. I don't own the physical version for my PS5, but I already have it for my PS4, so I'm good to go. In that regard, I just want a physical representation of the game for my trophy list in this instance. So yeah, Continuing forward. Oh, I should have done this in order. Excuse me, but Uncharted 3. Obviously, if I got the dual pack, I'm gonna get the third game as well. I'm not gonna lie, I really did enjoy the third one. I know some people they may not have been as great as fans of the third one as they were especially the second one, because a lot of people consider the second one to be the best one. But I did really enjoy the third one as well, most because the character Sully reminds me a lot of my grandpa, and so obviously I was just projecting a little bit, but and the third one he really reminded me a lot about my grandpa. So this version is the Game of the Year edition, but it is French, so I didn't get it from Canada, but I did. I guess an individual living in America had the Canadian version, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm not really the type of individual. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If I had the option between the Western version, well, Canada is part of the West. Excuse me. If I had the option between the American version versus the Canadian version, I would get the American version because I do prefer just the English by itself. I feel like it's not as cluttered with the text. But I already own this on my PS4, the collection. So again, I was not too concerned about the kind of box that it came in, as long as it looks fine and brand new, and it does, yay. So that's why I wasn't too concerned about that. And again, this one was really cheap as well, buying it in that format. Continuing forward, and this is the last one. I do have some new games that I got that I've never had before in the past, but I actually have some more PS3 games coming in the mail. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just hold these off until those other ones come, and just have the other videos as being actual new games being added to my collection that I did not own before, for the most part. No, actually, no. I think these are the last set that I'm getting that to represent the games that I do own. Sorry, I saw my face when I looked at the screen. Like, whoa. Anywho, but the last one would be Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. So this is another one that's on my trophy list. I started playing it on my PS3, and then the PS4 version was announced, and then foolishly I sold the PS3 version in favor of the PS4 version. So this is another trophy list game. I'm happy just to have it represented. This one I did get brand new, but unfortunately the disc was popped open. Unfortunately, it come in like that, but nothing was broken on the inside, thankfully. Sometimes when the disc is broken, the clasp is a little bit messed up, but this is A-okay. Everything was fine. And this is like Skyrim. Probably in the future I will replay it on my PS3 to get those trophies, but also just to compare and contrast. I do recall when I played on my PS3, I was quite impressed by the build mechanics and the open world aspect of it as well. Obviously, the PS4 version is going to be much more smoother. It's the PS4 version, but the PS3 version is nothing to scoff at. I think from what I recall, it ran pretty well, especially considering it's an open world game with a ship mechanic, and you're able to traverse wherever one wants to go. But yeah, let me quickly check. Okay, so we're at 13 minutes for this video. I'm going to go ahead and save those new games off to the side. Again, these games I never owned them before, and well, I guess it's not entirely true. Let me go ahead and there's one more I just realized. I don't know why I put this in the other pile. The last one, so, well, I guess because this one's a bit of a special case. It's not in my trophy list like The Last of Us, but I did play it on my original PSN before I deleted that one and got my new one. And I do own the PS4 version because of PS Plus, excuse me. And I did enjoy from what I played. And when I did own the PS3 version, I did enjoy from the little bit that I did play of it. I didn't get too far, but what game am I talking about? Just Cause 2. So this is one that, like with the other ones, it used to be part of my collection, but then unfortunately I made the choice to sell it. Oh, I think the reason why I wasn't going to include this with this pile is because this Just Cause 2 does not have a PS4 version of it, right? All these other games have a PS4 version. So in my head, I was like, well, I'll put this separated. But then I realized, well, it's part of that same category. Games that I used to own that were previously part of my collection, but unfortunately I sold off, but I'm reacquiring. So that's why I went ahead and decided to discuss it. So as a quick recap, it's Just Cause 2, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I guess I should show off the back too. I'm noticing I'm not really doing that. Excuse me, everyone. Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception, the Game of the Year edition. The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Legendary Edition. I do prefer Oblivion, I'm not going to lie, but Skyrim is fun as well. Portal 2 with Shell in the back. Always gotta enjoy Valve games. Unfortunately, we don't have a third one for any series yet. Team Fortress, Portal, nor Half-Life. Resistance, Fall of Man. The Last of Us. Wait, did I? Oh, good thing I went through the list again. I guess because I had these games on top. Let me finish the recap and then I'll do the stragglers. Not that they're not important, but it was just an unfortunate accident. Dead Island, the greatest hits version. Dead Island Riptide, the special edition. The PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. It's funny how some games that during the closure, this one was hovering around 20-ish bucks. It hasn't really gone too much up in value. Unfortunately, because I think most people don't consider it to be like a gym per se. But if one is interested in PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, I would recommend it. Uncharted Dual Pack. So this has the greatest hits versions. Uncharted 1, Drake's Fortune. Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. So these are the ones I almost forgot to share with everyone, excuse me. But so Diablo, this one was a hard one. So hard because I started playing Diablo 3, the base game. So my trophy list, unfortunately, that is on my list. But then I sold that and got this one, the Reaper of Souls edition. So that's also on my PS3 list. And then I sold this one to get the PS4 version. My rationale back then was the fact that the PS4 version came with a little bit more. And this one I think is missing the Necromancer. So that was my rationale for doing that. I am not planning on getting Diablo 3, the base game, because I only want to get games I actually do want to play. And I really don't see myself playing Diablo 3 on my PS4. And then Diablo 3 again on my PS3. And then the base game on my PS3. It's just a bit too much. So that's going to be one of my lists. Thankfully, you could hide trophies on one's list, but that's going to be one that I'm probably never going to unhide. The base version of Diablo 3. I say that now, but hopefully I have the self-control to not purchase it. I'm not going to lie, Diablo 3, the base one is really cheap right now. But again, I only want to get games that I actually am going to play. So, no, I don't want to play Diablo 3 times. Moving forward, so this one, my excuse was, so as I already stated, I don't mind the French usually, but I use this as an excuse since my Resistance 1, I don't have a new copy. They've all been used copies, and I am fine with this new used copy. The case itself, it's not like new. I'll just say that. I don't know if you guys were able to see it, but the case itself, there's like some smudges. I'll say it's in very good condition, not like new. But the cover art itself, that's what I'm paying attention to. That's magnifique. I think it's pristine. But with that being said, I never had I did have a new version, but then I sold it a long time ago, unfortunately, because I never saw myself replaying it. But then once I started realizing that, hey, it's a PlayStation exclusive and it has a fun story, I can't believe I sold it. I made the choice to repurchase it. But at that point, unfortunately, it was way too expensive to get brand new. So I am talking about Resistance 1 again. So I decided to get the dual pack because, as I stated, I don't have a new version of Resistance. It is the greatest hits version, but I don't really care. At least this one I know will be in pristine condition. And then additionally, my copy of Resistance 2, it is not the English version. It does have the French and included, so it's the English/French, the Canadian version essentially. So that was my excuse. I'm not gonna lie, this was really cheap. So it was really easy to justify because it was so inexpensive for a brand new copy. I decided if I don't do this now, I might regret it in the future. After I got the used copy, I could see myself going back and getting the this version. So that's why I decided to do it. I know myself, unfortunately. But so yeah, the Resistance Dual Pack. If one hasn't played the Resistance series, I highly recommend it. As much as I do love Spider-Man on the PS4, I tell my friends and family who don't play games that they're missing out. I personally think that Spider-Man on the PS5 and PS4 are some of the best Spider-Man stories beyond the comics. And unfortunately, they won't be able to experience that since they don't play video games. But even though I do say that, I do wish Insomniac went back to Resistance. Such fun world building, such fun lore, and I really want to know what happened to the Chimera, the true Chimera as well, the true forms, the clove, the clove. I forgot what they were called. Hawaii. When you guys read the lore, something happened at Hawaii. Everyone's gone. Was that Hawaii or a fleet where everyone is just gone? And then of course Resistance 3 with the we find out the Chimera from another planet, right? So anyways, but I'm gushing over it, but I'm a fan of Resistance. So really quickly, I'm not going to show all of them again, but I'll just show Diablo Reaper of Souls since I did the recap of the other games. The Ultimate Evil Edition. And I'll do it again with Resistance. I know I did show it off the back and everything, but honestly, I'm just a really big fan of the series. I don't mind showing it off again. Nathan Hell was really cool, and I really loved, minor spoilers, but I loved how Insomniac took the chance to actually kill off the protagonist for Resistance 3. Not too many stories do that. Stories in movies, books, TV shows, any form of story, usually they don't kill off the protagonist. I will always have a lot of respect for Insomniac for doing that. That's why I could easily see them being able to work with Peter Parker's Spider-Man and Miles Morales' Spider-Man, because they essentially kind of did something, not the same obviously, but with Nathan Hale, and then with Joseph, Joe, the individual, I think his last name is Capelli, who you play as in Resistance 3. Anywho, but yes, so the next video, I'll go ahead and share the new games that were never part of my collection before. These games were part of my collection in the past, but I sold it off, but I wanted it to be reflected because either it's on my trophy list or I own it digitally, and there were a couple games just because of the cover art, the fraying of the edges. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone, and take care.